Hello, welcome back to another video of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. In this particular video, we will discuss about some properties of the data source that is present in our form. Okay, so we know that the easiest way to display data from the AX database in a form is to add at least one data source to the form, and the data source is actually a table variable that is used to fetch the data from the database and hold the data in the table variable as long as the form is active or until an action in the form forces the data source to refresh the data from the database. Okay, so when you will add a data source to a form, then you need to set some important properties to it. Okay, now we'll discuss about those properties, important properties, one by one. Now here in this section you can see that we have a form that is the sales table, right? And inside the sales table we have a node data sources, and one form can contain more than one data source. And you can see that inside the sales table we have a sales table data source as well. And if you will right click and see the properties, then you will be able to see this type of section in the right side, or you can change the positions of these properties. Okay, now the most important property here you can see, that is the name. So name is nothing but the name of the data source should be same as the table name used by the data source. So here you have to remember the name should be same as the data source or the table name itself. Okay, and another important property that you can see, there is a table. Here the name of the table is the sales table. And one more important property that you can see, that is the table. Here you have to specify the name of the table itself. So the name of the table used by the data source that you have to mention here. So if you'll drag and drop one particular table in the data source, so name will be taken automatically. Okay, now one more property that you can see, that is the index. Okay, so here you can see that index is there. So this property set the index defined on the table to be used as the default sorting for the data source. And one more property, that is the allow edit. You can see that is yes, mentioned as a yes. So if this is set to false, none of the field from this data source will be editable in the form. Okay, so now let's talk about the next property, that is the allow create. So allow create, this property, if this property is set to false, users are not allowed to create new record in the table used by this data source. Now next one, that is the allow delete. You can see over here, it is also yes. If it will be set to false, users are not allowed to delete records from the table used by this data source itself. One more important property that you can see over here, join sources there. So this is used to link two related table each other in the form. It can only be used if two or more data sources exist in the form, and this should be set on the secondary data source. Okay, not in the primary one. You have to select in the secondary one. If that particular data source or table is linked to another table, then you can use this particular property join source, and you have to use that in the secondary data source itself. Now one more property is their link type. So here it maintains the link between the join data source. So for that you can there can be different types of options. You can refer the Microsoft documentation to see this type of link. Okay, as you can see that it is delayed. So other than this one, you can use passive, you can use active, you can use inner join, you can use outer join, exist join, not exist join. So different type of link type is there, so you can use them. So if you want to know about all this thing, that means the different type of join type, so you can see our another video where we discussed all these things. Also there is a documentation of the Microsoft. You can also see that for this particular property for the detailed information, because we will not be able to cover all these type of link type in a single video. So that's why it's required a dedicated video for that one, for this property. Okay, so now let's discuss about one another property, that is the delay active. So you can see that delay active is over here, and it set as a yes. So if this set to yes, it means it will delay the execution of the active method, so that scrolling down a grid will cause the active method to execute only for the final record selected. Okay, so that's why you have to set to yes. So let me repeat it once again. If this is set to yes, it will delay the execution of the active method, so that scrolling down to a grid will cause the active method to execute only for the final record selected. So other than this one, you can see other types of properties also available. You can also check those one also. These are some important fields property, data source property that you need to understand, and commonly you can use those properties only. All others are also not commonly be used on the data source. So if you have any question regarding any property, you can ask it in the comment section. We will try to give you the explanation as soon as possible. So thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye bye.